Hi everyone, and welcome to this month's Clicky webinar. So today we're going to be talking all about creating a brand with your audience in mind. So just to introduce your speakers today, you've got me, Hayley Sackett, lead digital designer at Clicky. I've been here for 4.5 years now, and I specialise in branding.
I'm Andy. I'm one of the digital designers at Clicky, and I'm almost been here for a year.
Okay, so to just run through the agenda, we're going to start with what is a brand and the difference between a logo and a brand, why you need to create a brand for your audience and not for you. We'll discuss defining your audience and how to do this. We'll look at why you might need to rebrand if your brand's no longer appealing or relevant to your audience. And we'll show you some big names that have had to rebrand to attract the right audience. And then we'll finish off with a quick summary and some questions. So if you've got any questions, just fire them across. So what is a brand? So you'll all probably know what a logo is. It's a shape, icon, or word mark that businesses use to represent their company. So think of the golden McDonald arches, the Coca-Cola script font, or the Nike swoosh. But branding is so much more than what your company logo looks like. It's how you present yourself to your audience and the experiences you provide them with. So as this diagram demonstrates, the small circle in the middle represents the logo. So this is the symbols, words, colours, form, and shapes that makes up your logo. Then around this, you have the brand identity, which is everything that your logo appears on. So things like stationery, signage, marketing collateral, etc. Your identity also includes things like fonts, colours, and messaging your brand uses. Then in the large green circle, we have the brand, which includes both the logo and identity. But your brand is also the gut feeling people have when they hear about or see your brand, the relationships and emotions people have with your brand, and what they expect from you and the memories that they trigger. So unlike this diagram, your customers don't experience your company just by looking at your logo. Instead, when a customer sees your logo, they'll associate that logo with an emotional reaction which they have created based upon the experiences they've had with your brand. These experiences decide whether the customer has a positive reaction towards your brand. It actually happens more like this. So the customer sees your logo, then if the customer recognizes the logo, they'll remember all the experiences they've had with your brand. So for example, it could be wearing a pair of Nike running shoes on their first run and not getting a single blister, the inspiring adverts they've seen on the TV, or the super friendly staff at the Nike stores they've been to. Your brand is the reason why someone will choose you over a competitor, why a customer will return, and why people will pay more for your products. So to build a strong brand, you need to put the people first. It's so important that every touch point and experience your audience has with your brand is positive and consistent. With the example of Nike again, everything will have been carefully planned and considered, from the design and quality of their products, to the way they advertise their products, to which celebrities they might get to endorse them, to the packaging the products come in, to the language they use on their website, to the way the customer service team answer the phones, and so on. Everything they do has to give the right impression of the brand. So, guess the brand. In the next few slides, we're going to show you a series of ads which we've removed the brand logos from, just to demonstrate how popular brands are instantly recognizable. So the colors, the illustration style, the typography is all on brand for Deliveroo. And the style of photography, the products themselves, the way the products are labelled, and the colour schemes are all unique to IKEA. So the use of red, the white shapes, the messaging, and the bottle are so strong to the Coca-Cola brand.
So you want to create a brand that you and your employees love. It needs to communicate your vision and your values. But at the same time, you need to attract your core audience. You need to think about what they like and what will appeal to them. Customers are selfish, and they want to know why they should care about your brand and how your brand could help them. If someone lands on your homepage within the first 15 seconds, would you be able to tell them how your business can benefit them? If not, you might need to reconsider your brand messaging. It's your customers that determine the success of your business, and without your customers, you wouldn't be here. So you need to communicate clearly who you are, what you stand for, how you're going to make people's lives better. We've outlined some do's and don'ts for creating a brand for your audience. So when it comes to promoting your brand, think about the channels and platforms that your audience are using. Think about all the touch points your audience will have to interact with your brand. Review your brand often and make sure it's still appealing to your audience. Make sure your brand is consistent. Don't just talk about yourself in your key messaging, talk about how you can help your audience. Don't just choose your favorite color for your brand, think what colors could appeal to your audience. And don't just assume who your target audience is, do the relevant research, and don't market to everyone, because everyone isn't your audience. So an important factor is to define your key audience. So what we mean by a target audience is a group of people whose attention you want to attract and retain a relationship with. It's important that you understand what they want, their needs, their preferences, and their lifestyle. And by knowing this, we can tailor the brand towards them. Your target audience is comprised of people or businesses who directly need or want your product or service, those who influence the people who need or want your service, or your supporters and brand ambassadors. You can find out who your target audience is by doing the correct research. Unfortunately, many businesses skip this step, and how we define a brand is a response to the customers we want to target and how we stand out from the competition. So there's a lot of research we can do, and here's some key areas of focus. First is basic demographics, so that's age, gender, income, location, etc. Their behavior, so what do they want, how do they act, what are their habits, are they online, are they offline, what sites and social media platforms do they use. Motivation, so what will prompt them to act and why would they come to you over a competitor. Pain points, so what are their problems, why do they experience these problems, what do they need to make their life easier or better. And then knowing the competition, so as well as audience research, you should also conduct thorough research on your competition in the industry. What's the market size, who are the key players, and how do we differentiate from them. Tools that we can use for this, great tools such as Google Analytics. You can use data that we've collected on customers through email sign-up forms or forms on the website. Focus groups, interviews. You may have seen recently that Twitter have made some changes to its feed and minimized its feed. They did a big campaign around it, and it's all about listening to what their users wanted. You can also conduct market research through blog articles and thought leadership pieces from your competitors.
Reasons why you might have to consider a rebrand. So to maintain a strong brand, it needs looking after. It should be continually revisited and updated if needed. It might be a case that your brand looks outdated and needs modernizing, or it could be that your offering has changed and you need to revisit the way you present yourself to your audience. Or it could be that you need to appeal to a whole new audience, in which case taking time to rebrand is crucial. So we've just got some examples to show you of famous brands which needed to adjust their brands so that they could either fit in with their target audience or attract a whole new target audience. So Old Spice has been on our shelves since 1937, and prior to 2010 was seen as a brand for older men, the type of thing your granddad would wear. Over time, the brand had become stagnant, being known as not being especially bad, but not being especially good either. As well as this, competition in the market was fierce, especially with acts on the scene. Old Spice knew they had to pick up their game if they wanted to compete with new younger men's products. With the help of the Man Your Man Could Smell Like campaign, which you might remember the TV ads for, Old Spice managed to rebrand themselves as something sexy, fun, and youthful. And with this, they attracted a whole new audience that was a lot younger, and their sales more than doubled from the following year.
The next brand we're going to look at is Burberry and how they changed audience perception. So just a couple of decades ago, Burberry was suffering from bad reputation. Instead of once being known for quality, historic fashion brand, it was associated with gangs and was considered a joke by fashion watchers. However, in 2001, Burberry decided to do something about this. They wanted to get back to their beginnings, and they scaled down their offering so they could focus more on what they were traditionally known for, which is trench coats. Throughout the years, celebrity endorsements from celebrities such as Emma Watson and James Bay helped cement the new image of Burberry being a luxury brand and a symbol of high class and wealth.
So to summarise, you need to create a brand that appeals to your audience and not just to you. Research is really important for defining your audience. Remember, not everyone is your target audience. Once you've built a brand, it needs maintaining and should often be reviewed to check that it's still appealing to your target audience. Sometimes, over time, your audience may change, and if it does, it might be worth considering a rebrand. Any questions?
Yeah, so we've got a couple of questions through. So what happens if you have a widespread audience?
Okay, so not all companies are going to have a niche audience, and in some cases, your audience could be quite widespread. But it's still important that you create a brand that appeals to them, and you can target specific groups within that widespread audience. So I guess a good example for this could be someone like ASOS, because everyone buys clothes, so their audience is very widespread. But they target demographics within their audiences, such as festival goers or wedding attendees, or even gym goers around the new year.
Another question, so how would you go about starting a rebrand?
Okay, so a brand immersion session is the perfect place to start any branding project, whether you're revamping an existing brand or creating a new one from scratch. These sessions will allow you to analyse your business, your values, what you stand for, your future vision, as well as drilling down your target audience and how to position yourself in the market. This will then give you a really good base to start a rebranding project. Thank you for listening, everyone.